Today, inshallah, we are going to talk about another prophet whom we can link to another great prophet. There is a connection between these two prophets. So we're going to spend a lot more time talking about the next prophet than this prophet we're going to talk about today. Most definitely, his story can be covered just in one session. You may have noticed that some prophets, their story takes much longer because they are mentioned a lot more in the Quran and in the Hadith. And those prophets, many of them are the ulul azm min al-rusul. That is why their story takes longer. But some other prophets, it's important to mention them because they are mentioned in the Quran. They are among the 25 most important prophets, yet their story is not that deep or that large. And an example today is Prophet Shuayb. And that is the prophet we're talking about, Shuaib alayhi salam. Prophet Shuayb, he was sent to a city known as Madyan. Madyan. You probably heard this before. So always remember these stories we are telling you, the names of the prophets, the names of their people, the names of the cities. Try to retain them because guess what? We are going to have another Islamic Jeopardy this year again. So the same Islamic Jeopardy we had, we're going to have another one towards maybe April or so. So everything I'm telling you, I expect you to remember. Shuaib alayhi salam was sent to the people of Madyan. And this Shuaib, the reason why I mentioned that he's connected to another prophet, it's because the scholars have said, or the majority have said, this is the Shuaib who gave one of his daughters to Prophet Musa alayhi salam. Remember, when Musa alayhi salam ran away from Egypt because he had murdered a person, he killed someone by accident. We're going to start the story of Musa Monday, inshallah ta'ala. He killed someone by accident. So he ran away. He had to leave Egypt because the Pharaoh, Fir'aun, wanted to kill him. So Musa alayhi salam, when he left Egypt, he was wandering on the desert. Finally, he reached the city of Midian. And he was thirsty, very hungry, and we'll talk about his dua when we get there. And Musa alayhi salam found a group of ladies who were sitting by the well. They could not get water. He helped them. When they went back to their father, told the father the story about this man who helped them, and the father told them, go bring him. And when Musa came, the father agreed to take one of his daughters and give her to Musa as a wife. Welcome back, assalamu alaikum. As a wife. So it is this Shuaib that we're talking about today who gave his daughter to Musa alayhi salam, Prophet Shuaib. He was an older man at that time. But Shuaib alayhi salam, the people of Madyan, they were people who were robbers. They were people who were highway robbers. Anyone who was passing by, they would stop you, take your goods, take your merchandise, and kill you. And when they were doing business with people, they were never fair. When it comes to telling you the quality of the merchandise, they would lie, they would cheat. So Shuaib alayhi salam was sent to them as a prophet and a very eloquent man. Shuaib, in fact, the scholars say his name, Shuaib, means the preacher. So if you ask the question, what prophet is also known as the preacher, you say Prophet Shuaib alayhi salam. He was a preacher. Someone who's a preacher means very eloquent. Somebody who can talk. Somebody who has, good rhetoric. That was Shuaib alayhi salam. He told his people, "O my people, ya qawm," he said to his people, "there is no other God I find for you except Allah. You should not worship anybody besides Allah. And at this time, the people of Madyan, they were worshipping a tree. They had a big tree in the city, and they took it as their god. Shuaib said, you should not worship this tree, you should only be worshipping Allah. They replied to him, do you want us to leave the God or the gods of our forefathers? And they started calling him names that I will not repeat here. They called Shuaib all kind of names. But Shuaib said, indeed, I am the messenger from your Lord. And if you don't listen to me, the punishment will come. And this is the sunnah of every single prophet. From Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, we covered his story, all the way to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The sunnah of the Prophet is, if he calls the people to La ilaha illallah and the people reject, he continues to call to La ilaha illallah, worship none but one God, and the people continue to reject. The Prophet, except for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, made dua against the people. And when this dua was made, Allah answered his dua by sending a punishment to those people. So they challenged him. They said, if your God is real, then tell him to split the sky. Tell him to send a punishment from the sky. They were mocking him. They were being funny. Shuaib alayhi salam indeed made the dua. And when this dua was made, first of all, Allah sent an extreme heat in the city of Madyan. Extreme heat that they could not bear. So all of them ran out looking for a place of shade. What happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a cloud. So tomorrow we find out what happened with this cloud, inshallah.